Is this thing on? It is. Fantastic. Ah, it looks even better when there's people there. Let's all head in, guys. Thanks so much. I was here all day and there was no one here, and I was starting to feel very lonely. And then I realized that rain is not good here. It's like Sydney. Rain does horrible things up there, down there. I don't know. The earth is flat, whatever. So I'm going to record this. They've got really cool equipment here. Thank you, Danielle Marie, who does all things blockchain. If you guys don't know all things blockchain, definitely come talk to her. Great education, great inspiration and stuff as well, because we wouldn't have looked at this awesome place had I not admired all the photos and stuff that you were sending across online. So I just want to start today with our acknowledgement of country, if I can find it here for Brisbane. We acknowledge and pay our respects to the spiritual relationship between traditional custodians and this country, which has inspired language, songs, dances, law, and dreaming stories over many thousands of years. So thank you all for coming along today. My name is Mark, if you didn't already know. Started the Oz DeFi Association about 2 years ago, and it turned into, it's really cool seats, right? Started it 2 years ago, and it's turned into such a cool spot for us where I think, you know, we would not, as a company, in terms of what I do, I run a company called NotCentralised, we would not be all the things that we are had it not been for the DeFi Association. Now, I need to find, I had a clicker. Did I put a clicker down? There it is. 1 second.
That's something I would do.
I'm learning from the best. It's also called ADD, off meds. So you can see our amazing sponsors here. There's some great names there. Coinstash is up there as well. Where's my friend Duncan? Duncan, right at the back. So Coins and Mena. So Coinstash are going to be our new sponsor, not publicly official, but it will be coming out there. So thank you both for this opportunity to work with you guys and do more stuff here in Brisbane. Our plan is to come back and do monthly. We were a bit haphazard over the last couple of years in terms of where we could do events. I'm based in Sydney, so we do a lot of stuff there. Brisbane, we're going to come back and be a lot more regular. The goal is for 40 events around Australia. So at a minimum, 10 events in Southeast Queensland. And I say Southeast Queensland because I did one event in Sunshine Coast, and we might, you know, we'll look at what we can do there. But really loving this part of town, and Perth, Sydney, and Melbourne. So if you're interested in getting involved and helping out, please do reach out. Let's see if this works. I'm getting a low battery sign. That's a good sign, isn't it? QR code, because obligatory. It's just got links back to Oz DeFi, where the meetup pages are, our newsletter, our website, you know, my OnlyFans. No, I don't have that. Other stuff. But yeah, some really good, interesting stuff on the site. And then what we do typically with these, so it's the same formula each month in each city, usually, when I can find, you know, the right kind of venue and stuff. Yes? This way? Oh, back one slide. Sorry. Oh, my OnlyFans code. Okay, yes. There we go. There you go, Simon. Hands up the people here from Queensland Health. Yeah, there you go. So thank you so much for joining us. You know, if it's a personal interest or otherwise, blockchain tech is going to be there. We're doing it for payments and supply chain, but there's going to be a whole lot more that you'll see. So we usually do updates for a few minutes, and then we get to interviews, and so we'll get to the cool fun stuff soon. But around the nation, one of the things was we had BitGet come along as a sponsor. So Debbie was here in Sydney, was in Sydney last month, and they interviewed a guy named Alvin, who's their COO. We did that live out of Singapore, which was great. It'd be great to get him over here. We do have international guests that have flown in. So we're hoping to do more of that and even get people up to Brisbane. And apologies, I'm just going to turn this down. This is to keep an eye out if there's anyone at the door, but I'll see if it buzzes. So BitGet are awesome. Check them out. They've got a cool wallet. There'll be some more stuff coming from them. Sydney event, our hometown. So you can see on the left there, Debbie interviewing Alvin, the crowd, and then people eating pizzas. Domino's is a theme here. We should be sponsored by Domino's. We're not yet. I'm working on it. Don May, if you're out there, when he sees this on YouTube. Melbourne was really good. We did an event over at RMIT, so getting the students involved. and that was with Stables and a few others, and a great little debate there. Karen, who's now over at Stables, from Elbait, we've got some other people there as well. So really cool stuff. It's great to see the projects presenting in the community. And then Perth, they normally do nighttime events, but because there was a conference on, this was the Web3, the WA, Western Australia Web3 conference, and we hosted the breakfast there. So you can see some hungry souls there. I don't see coffees there. I'm sure there's coffees there somewhere. I'm sure they drink coffee over there. Anyway, so really great stuff over there. Adelaide, we do on the odd occasion do stuff in Adelaide. We had about 20 people at this one. TCG presented on their metaverse, and so they're still going. Really great stuff there. So Jace Falkenberg presented. And then we're in Sunshine Coast last month, but I'm looking to do more stuff in Brisbane, and occasionally we'll do some Sunshine Coast stuff. So if anyone's down there, Meta Collect. You don't see the other people. We did record parts of this, but no one wanted to get up on stage and actually talk in front when the camera was on. So we turned the camera off. We moved all the chairs around and just had a powwow between about 10 people, just talking about different things that we're up to, from tax to investing, etc. So that was really cool. And then recently, Blockchain Australia did their policy forum, and we got to be part of that as AusDeFi. And then I also got to help them from an AI perspective, because wearing my builder's cap, I build in blockchain, but we also do some AI stuff as well. And because we're from blockchain space, we build like privacy-focused kind of GPT tools. So we use that to help them collate all of the different responses, and you'll see that a little bit later, collate them in a way that it's private, it doesn't go into the training model, and it stays here in Australia, which they liked. But we're gonna go to presentations now, and I think the cool thing with presentations is you get to know the others in the community. So let's talk to Mena from Coinstash. Come on down. The price is right. Can we play the music? Come on down. I'll get the music sorted next time, my bad. What I will do you want to stand, if I stand, if you want to go over there, do you want to sit and stuff, and I'll flick through the slides, just easier. Here you go. Okay, see.
Oh, yeah. No.
It's all part of the service.
This is pretty cool. I don't have to see you because of the light. I don't have to see you all because I can look at the light, so there's no distractions. Jack, can you come and sit next to me? Like last time.
Is that good?
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay? Actually can't see properly. Like, that's okay.
Do you want that, or do you want me to move to?
So, yeah.
Oh, there we go. Hang on, I'm trying to get this mic.
I don't feel comfortable sitting here like with this. So, yeah.
All by yourself.
Yeah, it's also because, I don't know, I just feel more personal if
Test.
I can walk around.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. This is usually me in Sydney as well, just playing around with all the equipment until I get the settings right. So, yeah.
I'm just showing off my muscles by doing it with one hand.
Mena.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
No worries.
So I mean, I've got the question up there, but I'd rather first know about you. Like, how did you get into blockchain and all that? Like, where did it all begin for you? The white paper?
I wish it was that early on, but for me, it started in 2013. My first venture was in cryptocurrency mining. I kind of had an interest in Litecoin. I think I was probably the first person in this room to get scammed as well, because I got scammed back in 2013 as well. So I learned a lot about how early stage crypto was. And then I started to do a bit more research as well from there and learn a bit more about the intricacies of cryptocurrency mining. I then found myself in, I think it was 2015 or so, working as a mobile app developer for a coin. The coin was unfortunately betrayed by the founder. So I was part of the foundation, and the founder, he ended up committing fraud against everyone and taking the money and running. But again, you learn a lot of different things in the crypto space. But,
which group was that?
The coin was Paycoin.
Paycoin.
Yes.
Okay.
And really, really interesting idea was I had really high hopes for what it was capable to do. It was going to be the universal currency of the world. It was going to solve interstate remittance fees in Africa. It was a whole bunch of things that it would, revolutionize, but it just wasn't the right time, and there was a lot of, there definitely wasn't enough people in crypto back then for anything to happen, or for anyone who's truly important enough to take notice and to incorporate that type of approach with blockchain technology.
Is that what led to how you got, like, how Coinstash came? Because you had that experience, working in a group and, learning from the ground up.
Yes, well, essentially in 2017 is when I started to get a bit more serious. I was heavily into trading at that point. I'd been through numerous number of ICOs, and including the Ethereum one, which was interesting. But then one of my best friends, Ting, who I went to school with, my co-founder now, him and I were kind of talking. This was actually in 2016, late 2016. We started talking about cryptocurrency, and I was like, wow, you know about crypto as well? And he's like, oh yeah, I've been reading. Ting's a very intellectual type, by the way. I'm the brawn, he's the brains. And yeah, so we started, and then we're like, okay, so we were both trading. We seemed to have a good handle on how to trade, and we ended up building a really big base for ourselves. And then we were like, okay, so what do we do with this money? Well, him and I were both entrepreneurial mindsets, and we decided, well, hey, let's start an exchange. So we started an exchange called Bitstock, but that failed. So no one really knows about that as well. But it was too much maintenance. It wasn't built adequately in the back end. I didn't build. I'm a developer as well. I didn't really build it. So then we said, you know what? Let's go backwards. Let's build a broker platform. So then we built Coinstash, and that was in 2019 June. We released version 1. Then 2021, I think it was, we released version 2 after a funding round. And then 2022, we released version 3 of the front end, but still sticking with version 2 of the back end.
That's amazing. I mean, like, just being able to survive as any company. I mean, crypto, because we're all in it or interested, we've seen the highs and the lows, come along. I'm jumping around here, but what was it like to continue building and raising during a market that's going south?
Yeah, good question. In the bear markets, it's much slower, but it actually gives us a breather. We've never really been a very big team, nor have we needed to be a big team. We're very efficient on what we do. So in the bear markets, it was kind of a bit of a grace for us. But yeah, even in those markets, you have a lot of people who will believe that the world is ending for crypto. There's no longer going to be crypto. Crypto is dead.
Does anyone think that crypto is dead? No. No one here.
Just kidding. Yeah, a lot of people, including some of my best mates, have come to me and said it's a bubble. No, I'm not. And my dad's a financial advisor, and he whatever. And I'm like, dude, I've been in this space for far longer than your dad. I'm sure he knows what he's talking about, but there's no reason to remove what blockchain can actually do. Maybe certain cryptocurrencies are not all of them, some of them are going to die off. All of them have a different purpose. So
exactly. It's not like in the traditional markets that we don't have anything that is super speculative, aka penny stocks. It's not like we haven't had issues with collateralized debt obligations and really complex things that just people dove into that caused them financial grief. It's not like, humans are not the same thing across both, but blockchain is better.
Yeah, there's definitely a future for it, and it just takes a long time for things to eventuate. With blockchain technology in particular, how I see it, and it's kind of like a patterning thing, I guess, that I kind of recognize is when money moves in when money moves in somewhere, then that's when more attention will start to develop. So even though I think everyone here can acknowledge with blockchain technology what you can do with that and what's been done and all the different ideas, all the different chains that have evolved. from the concept, but really, like, some of the chains still exist purely because of the amount of money involved. Yeah, I can talk about that, but this.
Oh, absolutely. And you're right. Like, there is a lot more, if you guys haven't seen, but a lot more money coming into the space from corporates and traditional finance like BlackRock, JP Morgan, Standard Chartered, etc. Everyone is either investing their time and resources, or they're putting their money where their mouth is and putting a lot of money into the space, especially after the Bitcoin ETF came out. And now it's easier for financial advisor dads to actually recommend it to their clients. So, you know.
Absolutely.
ANZ today as well, the big announcement, they're settling.
What are they doing?
Settling digital assets transactions overseas avalanche. So.
Oh, ANZ are?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of big news.
So for the camera, for the YouTube, that is, because I might not pick it up, but ANZ is settling financial transactions overseas on the Avalanche chain.
Tokenized assets.
Tokenized assets.
They make subnet on Avalanche, so it's pretty cool technology.
Amazing.
That's the first step, and then anyway, so they'll do other stuff. I know, like, I've read their white paper with their plans.
We need Aussie stablecoins, so ANZ, NAB, Novarti, and there's others trying to do stuff here, because as soon as we've got programmability, that's going to help. But yeah, no, that is really cool. So Swyftx, like, there's a lot of innovation. And speaking of, you know, these amazing services that are coming, let's talk about Coinstash. Like, what are the things that you guys provide to the market for folks that I'm sure everyone here knows, but, you know, think that you're talking to the YouTube audience as well?
Sure. Look, I mean, when it comes to all the different brokers or exchanges here in Australia, there needs to be some sort of point of difference, I guess, between each one, why you would consider one versus the other. I'm a strong believer in USPs, unique selling points. So for Coinstash, I think our biggest focus was our DeFi connector. So we essentially are a CeFi platform, but we connect the DeFi to our platform. We enable you to trade over 1,000 coins and tokens. And I think in terms of what our competitors can offer, I think they're still traditionally offering all the centralized tokens or coins that exist on every other exchange backed by US dollars. So it adds more ability for people to make choice on, you know, what they might discover as an opportunity. It's usually when you see movement in price on a CeFi coin, so let's classify everyone else listing CeFi coins, the major move has already happened in the DeFi, because everything starts there. So what we're essentially doing is enabling people to, you know, get that opportunity. And we've seen that numerous times. We've listed tokens that eventually will get listed on other major exchanges across the world, and as soon as that happens, they just skyrocket in price. But we've already had them on other times, and actually more recently, I'm like, hey, that's an interesting system. We need to start thinking about how to market to tell people, like, that was available on Coinstash 6 months ago. You know, that was there. You should look at it there, and you could put $100 in then, and it'd been worth $2,000 now. But it's like
a pretty good signal.
Yeah, it's much better. And then obviously there's the alpha component, which is when you hear other people talking about what coins or tokens to buy. That makes a big difference too. But and yeah, so we really just want to give that opportunity for people to. With Coinstash, the biggest thing that I've said to Ting is, funnily enough, we want people to make money. So in crypto, the stigma is people will lose money. A lot of people will come to you, oh yeah, I put $5,000 in, and I lost it all, or it's worth $200 now. We're trying to change that. We're trying to change the whole idea. So
it's not a casino, because casinos don't want you to make money, right?
That's right. It's not. There's always financial risk getting into spaces like this, but the idea is that we're giving you the best chance, because it's not just the coins that everyone else has. It's all the tokens. It's more. So, and there's about to be a lot more. This is going to be 2,000 plus very soon. We're doing some things in the background to list things faster.
Oh, amazing. Well, we'll be keen on seeing that news. And I guess as new sponsors, there'll be the podcast, you'll see them in the newsletter. You'll see their announcements more and more, so which is great for anyone else that wants to sponsor as well. You know, out there in here or in the ether. But let's talk about the milestones that you guys have achieved over the last couple of years as Coinstash. What are some of the highlights for you? Well, what are some of your favorite ones of what you've done so far? And I know there's much more ahead of you, but just, looking back, which is nice to do every now and then.
Look, probably I look back on history and I can say the first thing that ever happened was finding someone a partner to work with. So let's go straight. Let's not get too deep and emotional on this right now. But
Ting was here. This would
Yeah.
be a D&M. I'd have him sitting here and you guys would just look right into each other's eyes.
He'd probably feel a bit awkward about it.
Okay.
But
okay
I would
with it,
definitely
so.
stare in his eyes. No, like that's the first thing. Just that continued partnership with someone that is like-minded, and that was a great thing for Coinstash, absolutely, because we're both very dedicated people and driven. Second was, I guess, the raise. I think the first raise we did, so we raised $2.8 million.
Wow.
That was quite interesting to go through that journey. And I think we have around 1,600 or 1,800 investors, because we did it as a crowdfunding. And yeah, it's really good because you get to hear a lot of people's different ideas as well. So it's almost like everyone has their input on what can make Coinstash, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, because I'm actually the head of product, so lots of roles, but still, it's interesting to see what people want to say and what people want. Always open to that. The third, I guess, major one was probably our addition of the DeFi USP, the DeFi connector.
Amazing.
That was, sorry. Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. It was really cool to have that on the platform and to really differentiate from our competitors. The last one was probably during the last bear market that existed. We moved from a startup to scale up. I'd say that's probably the next big milestone for what we did. So that's essentially, we were in the midst of just, decay. Everyone's dying in the crypto space, but we actually were hiring. So we were doing the right thing. We were building on what we were doing. We were targeting the right communities in terms of bringing customers in and finding out that people saw value in Coinstash, and yeah, pushed forward from there.
It's amazing, to be able to survive, not just as a blockchain company and the stuff that we've gone through, which is close to us and very, in front of our faces in terms of the news, whether it's 3 Arrows Capital or Sam Bankman-Fried. And I mean, I was reminded on, I think, whatever Google is, like, hey, here's a memory for you 1 year ago, and I took a photo watching online from 2 years ago, I think it was, when FTX, it was Sam Bankman-Fried calling in from his bed. It seemed like he was lying down for this big blockchain conference in Australia. And it was also one of the dudes from, Brian Harrison, who was the America's kind of chief for FTX as well. So times change really quickly, and it's amazing to survive. You could say that about anything tech, but I guess in this space it's even more so because it's like a hype space. So any sudden moves left or right is such a big thing. And it's a distraction. So to be able to be as a fellow founder and stuff, amazing what you guys have done. Responses to market challenges is another one I wanted to understand, and I guess you've kind of answered bits and pieces of it, but how do you see that going forward in terms of how you would now respond to if there is something that suddenly happens again? Like, how are you guys prepared for those challenges?
Look, our long-term vision isn't necessarily to focus on just a cryptocurrency broker or exchange platform. We have vision. We've always had a 5-year plan to become a cryptocurrency bank. So the idea that we currently have is to be crypto bank that's fiat enabled. So it kind of reverses it around. And fiat is your AUD, if anyone didn't know that. So we're trying to. That's the long-term vision and where we want to move. And
Crypto Bank of Australia?
Yeah.
CBA. Oh wait, no. Take another name.
True, actually, I didn't think of that. It's really good. Probably just be CS.
That's good too. Yeah. No, but that's really interesting. I had no idea that bigger kind of thoughts out there. That's great.
Yeah. Look, in terms of what we currently do, it's relatively simple in a sense, and everything in blockchain, I would say that's moving to the masses is relatively simple, I would say. I would probably, we want to have more involvement with regulatory bodies to pioneer different blockchain. I personally, once I have a bit more time as well, will start to focus on, I don't know, smart contracts for a lot of different things. So I feel as though Coinstash isn't just a company that is focusing on allowing people to, buy and sell, swap cryptocurrencies. We're also looking to work with regulatory bodies to have your house collateralized as an NFT for you to be able to do all sorts of things on chain. But
amazing, and I guess
really simply put, like not complicated.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like, we in a world where in blockchain things are very complicated, lose your seed phrase, and do all these things because we've wanted. And given the current tech right now, let's not talk about the UX and UI, which need a lot of improvement, but have been improving. But centralized kind of entities, so we moved to the whole kind of decentralized world, and it's been hard to do things with. And there's some people that want the convenience of both worlds. They want the programmability of blockchain and the options that it offers, but they want the comfort and safety net that centralized services have offered. So I can see a world very much similar to Spotify, and I'll ask you this question next, a similar world where you have, if you still want it, do you guys know the Pirate Bay is still something you can download illegal music and movies on? It's still, yeah. Oh, sorry, it's cracking up here. No one heard that you were using. No, you weren't using? You weren't using, yeah. So, but to that point, right, like there is still the Pirate Bay. So I can see a world where we'll still have DeFi, non-regulated DeFi, and we'll have regulated, related kind of like crypto things. So in that note, where do you see us heading in the future? Like, what's for the industry?
Look, I've kind of summarized it a little bit, but I can see. I mean, I kind of mentioned it before in the sense of where the money moves, then things become more popular in the sense. But I can see in the blockchain space many different ideas. I mean, I've written them all down as well. There's so many different things that can happen. It's just a matter of time before it actually is that answer. I guess it's.
It does.
Yeah, it's going to happen, but it'll just take time. And the complexity, as you said, is needing to be very simple for people to be able to take it on. That's usually how things, get adopted.
I think something interesting on that, I heard a really good quote where it's, and this is about like stealing ideas and people worrying about ideas being stolen. Whether you're the one that has the idea right now or someone else is going to think of it, the fact that we're all coming together and doing these meetups and events and talking and we've got these better communications, the idea is going to spout from somewhere. So it might be you, might not be you, but the point is to participate and to continue to push it forward. And we'll hear more in the meantime. We're going to do networking at the end of all this, so stick around if you can, and you can chat with Mena. And we'll be talking more about you guys very soon. So Mena, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
You can just put it down there. Yeah, cheers. All right, let's talk about that fun topic of tax. Let's go, tax. Let's go. Come on down. I'm switching between cameras so you'll see it in the video. Grab a seat. You want to? Yeah, sure. The thing's not working, so I'll get the mouse on there, and you are able to steer it. Just click.
Will it go left and right?
Yeah.
Oh, too easy.
Yeah, just do that. All good?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. How's it going? My name is Damien Lloyd. I am a senior associate at Cadena Legal. You might have come across Harrison Dell before. He's fairly prolific in this space. Just a little bit of a background about myself. I'm formerly from the ATO. I originally got into crypto in about 2017, more so providing what's known as private ruling. So you write into the ATO with questions that you want clarity on, particularly for tax purposes, and I'm the grunt that sits behind the desk and gives you an answer. Whether or not you like the answer is a different question, but you get an answer nonetheless. So I built up a lot of experience in the crypto space because of that role, and then I moved across into audits, and then eventually into the policy space because that's an interest of mine in particular. My background is law, so a lot of the stuff that I end up talking about has groundings in law, and so I thought I might share a little bit of a high level of a recent dispute that I've got with the ATO at the moment. So if you haven't come across this before, or if you don't follow me on LinkedIn, feel free to do so and you'll get a lot of this background. I've created videos that show this at a very high level, but I've effectively put the argument to the ATO saying that crypto might not actually be taxable, and understandably the ATOs, they don't like it. So I thought I would just step through it at a high level today. Okay, so I thought I'd just do very high level. Generally, what you pay tax on is amounts that you receive, taxable receipts, or it's the gains that you make on particular assets. So then the next question is, what is an asset? And the tax law broadly says that an asset is any kind of legal right or legal or equitable right, or it could be any kind of property. Now, these are very, very broad sweeping terms. So I like to think of property as it's your relationship with a thing, your legal relationship with a thing. So even though anything could potentially be property, your bodies are not property, even though they're things. But it takes an elevation of that thing into the legal sphere that makes it recognized as a thing. And so we broadly see it as, say, for example, the chair just in front of us is property because the owner of that thing is treated as having a right to it, and that right has a corresponding obligation on the world at large not to interfere with my rights. So something is largely property if I can say, as the owner, I have rights with respect to it because every single person in this room and the world at large has to respect my rights with respect to it. So it could be that, say, someone in the audience takes the chair away. I can then go to the court and say, well, I've got rights with respect to the chair. This person infringed on that right. They have the obligation to return the chair to me. So that's broadly how I understand property works at law. And then that's just very simple pictures, setting it out in further detail. The only issue is, in the tax determinations that are published by the ATO, they say that someone has a right to crypto, but then there's no corresponding obligation on anyone else to respect your rights to crypto. And so that immediately raises a couple of questions. The first is it actually a right? And the second is it even property? And that's the gist of the argument, that if the ATO is arguing that there are no obligations on third parties generally not to respect my right to crypto, then it can't be property. And if it can't be property, then it's arguably not a CGT asset. And so if you make gains on it, it shouldn't be taxable. That's it. Any questions? I said it was going to be very high level, so.
I was going to say, don't drop the mic, even though it is a mic drop moment. But yeah, do folks have questions here on that? Because everyone, yes, right here.
Go for it.
So I'm totally on board with that, obviously. But
I think a lot of people are.
as an industry, aren't there certain high-level influencers out there that are preaching this as property and trying to sell crypto to the masses as it being a right and a property, which would be then, do we need to shut them up? Because that's kind of debunking what you were trying to achieve here.
It's part of the reason why I'm challenging the ATO, because I think they're one of the largest proponents of that particular view. So at the moment, I've put in a ruling request that asks the ATO to consider, is crypto actually property? Is it actually taxable? They've already given me a response. They've said, it definitely is taxable. What are you talking about? Here are all the cases in Australia, all the cases internationally that support it. I've subsequently submitted about 100 pages worth of legal reasoning saying you're wrong at every single point. This is what the actual conclusion should be. They're considering that response. And so what could happen next is they might, and I think it's very unlikely that this will happen, they'll say, yes, we fully, we fully agree with you. 14 years worth of taxation was completely incorrect. We'll refund all the amounts that we've received from people. Probably not going to happen. The alternative is they say, you're wrong. We are standing our ground. It is definitely property. The consequences, as you said, would be just so significant. As I said, 14 years worth of taxation would be thrown out the door. The ATOs tax people without any legal basis. In that case, I would then need to take the application to the administrative, I think it's become the review tribunal. Effectively, I take it to a tribunal or I take it to court and I challenge them in the court. And because courts are generally meant to be more impartial than tax regulators or other government bodies, we should get a clearer answer. And if the answer is favorable, that it's not property, then it gets enshrined in existing case law as against other international cases, international jurisdictions. And then the question becomes, okay, well, if it's not property, should it be? Should there be protections from interference by third parties? But then that raises even deeper questions. So if you do have rights in crypto and there are obligations on other people not to interfere with it, how is that going to impact, in the circumstances where there's a fork? So you might have rights with respect to a particular token, and the majority in that case decide that they're not going to support a particular version of the blockchain, and so they alter your rights. Say, for example, with the ETH and ETC fork, I think they either transferred amounts to reverse the DAO hack, or they just reverted it from a particular point in time. It's too messy to go into. Would those full nodes that maintain the blockchain, would they be liable for interfering with your rights on the original blockchain? So I understand why people don't want to dive into this, but we can't, as an industry, avoid something so fundamental to what rights do you actually have when you hold crypto. So that's why I'm not stopping on this. It doesn't matter if the ATO continually slams me. I'm moving forward, and if I need to take it to the courts, then so be it.
Yeah, that's great. You got our full support, so keep going. And the deposition will be fun if you get them in court and start getting your hold of internal documents. So.
Any other questions for our Lord and Saviour here? Sorry.
What about a petition, like signatures?
Signatures?
Petition?
Yeah, like if we got to support you, we get a heap of signatures together. I'm sure if you've got something circulating in the industry, that would be, everyone's going to put their signature on it with all 10 of my email addresses.
I'm sort of fighting on a couple of fronts. So there had been an ongoing review into the taxation of crypto that was conducted by the Board of Tax, and they had reached out to industry and asked questions. Where do you see contentions in the tax area? Sorry, you had a...
Not doing any crowdfunding.
Not yet.
You have to be saying Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, Inu meme coins as crowdfunding it all.
I haven't thought that far ahead. And because my background is tax, my immediate thinking is, am I going to be taxed on a large amount? Like if I'm receiving these tokens for the purposes of providing a service to people, my immediate thoughts are, I'm going to get hit with so much tax just to run this case. So I need to think it through a bit more deeply. But if I do go ahead with crowdfunding or petitions, I will be reaching out and begging people for support. So
Absolutely. The launch of the crowdfund started here for Harry Dogecoin. Yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? Oh, were there more slides or what was the...
no, that's it.
Okay. Preview of the next one. But yeah, were there any other questions here, folks? Or was there anything that you wanted to add as an extra, like a final slam dunk on the head of the ATO? Not that the head of the ATO is here, I mean figuratively.
No, I tend to find that if I'm in a room, they tend not to be. So
We reserve that space up there in the corner for them, but they're not here, so that's okay.
they've been invited to many events,
Yeah.
but each time they decline.
I was going to say it's interesting because you know, having worked in this space for a very short time and heard from other people in other jurisdictions, Australia is very interesting because it's friendly when it comes to the regulators. The regulators have come to our events, and when I say the regulators, I'm talking APRA, ASIC, not ATO, APRA, ASIC, Treasury, RBA, have come to the events to listen, to chat, not just in the events, rarely in the event, but more like afterwards. When it comes to more official events, they will be there and they'll lend their opinion. But yourself and like others, I've seen it that the ATO just hasn't been. Has that always been the case, or was it different before? I'm just curious. Yeah.
I was never allowed to. So I received a lot of invitations while I was in the ATO to speak at events, but I was never allowed to.
Oh, you're at the okay.
Yeah, so I was in the ATO from 2017 until 2023. So I've only left within the last 8-9 months.
Is that like a requirement at Cadena? Because Harry was also like that. Harry Dell was also ATO then.
We were in the same graduate year. So,
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. So look, love you, Harry, but yeah, I mean, open it up more. Let us kind of get involved. But no, that's really interesting because you've been on both sides. So yeah.
Yeah, I prefer being on the outside. I feel... yeah.
Human.
Well, this is going online, right? So ATO
Yeah.
is wonderful. No, it's definitely more freeing.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I couldn't really... Well, I didn't feel like I could contribute any further. So I thought, I'll jump outside. And Harry was very keen to get me on side. And I love the environment in Cadena anyway. So, yeah.
Okay, so you heard it, Harry, a raise at the end of the year. So if people are interested in getting in touch with you, I mean, what's the best way? Just through the Cadena website or LinkedIn, Telegram?
Yeah, I know Harry has a Telegram, I think. It's too tricky to keep track of all the social media. I'm on LinkedIn. You can reach out to us on the website. I've only recently started a TikTok.
Oh,
But
because of
that's-
Harry. Because Harry's big on TikTok. If you guys didn't know, he will talk tax and play games at the same time. It's amazing.
He just finished Elden Ring as well.
There you go.
Can't do that. I shamefully, I was playing, is it Skyrim?
Skyrim, yep.
Ages ago, and I'm notorious with close friends that I die in tutorials all the time. Like, I break games purely because I'm not good at them. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
And you get taxed for that, so.
No, thankfully not. It's taxing, but no, I don't get taxed for that. But I'm on TikTok, where I've done a lot better job of putting up visuals, stepping through the argument so you can see it at each stage.
What's your TikTok name?
Can you tax it?
Can you tax it?
Yeah. I think, sorry, I'll double check after.
Okay, well, it'll be on the show notes, so watch the replay here, folks, but look out for Can You Tax It?
The next, so I'm looking to do complimentary videos that dive into like legally what crypto assets are. So they all it all focuses around this objection that I've got with the ATO at the moment. The first video was just explaining this. Is it even property view? And then the next steps are, okay, well, let's actually dive into what actually matters when you're talking about a crypto asset. And that gets messy.
Amazing. I'll do a new series called Legally Crypto. And it'll be like Legally Blonde. No, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Got to have a fun name.
We've got to get Tim involved.
Yeah, exactly. Tim will be involved, whether he
Yeah.
likes it or not. Anyway, thank you so much for
Okay.
all of this. This is very informative, and we need to follow. If you're not already on TikTok, get on there, folks, because if you need to tell anyone why you're on TikTok, it's for the education, right?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Amazing. All right. Thank you so much, Damien.
No, that's okay. Thank you for having me.
All righty. Just leave there. Yeah, I'll do that. Oh, gosh. All right, how do we do this? So let's get to Ryan, Swyftx, that I've learned everyone knows. Here you go. Did I get your name right? Yeah. Okay. Do you want to have a seat? Why don't you sit over here? In the interview chair.
How are we doing? Yeah, my name's Ryan. I work at Swyftx, which is another cryptocurrency exchange in Brisbane. My role is manager of customer success. So my guys look after all of our customer support, our open account and trading, NC account setups, and kind of the work. So
I was going to say, if you're manager of customer success and Bitcoin and all these coins are up as high as they are, you're doing very well. Like, your customers must be very happy, right? Over 100,000 BTC is what it's worth at the moment, right? So
my job's pretty easy at the moment. I'm just kind of feet up and it's actually the opposite of very easy at the moment. So that's good. It's but yeah, no, Swyftx is it's a cryptocurrency exchange, another one in Brisbane here, similar to Coinstash. We don't have the DeFi connected, so definitely props to you guys. Definitely.
It's not great.
But yeah, look, we've been around for 5 years. It's good exchange, and there's a lot of great exchanges out there. And yeah, it's a great place. I guess we really focus on especially like kind of beginner to intermediate investors as well. So one thing we're really focusing on at the moment is education. I think me called out before. Obviously, we're the same. Like, we don't want people to lose money. We actually want people to make money, and we do see too often that people do dive in to cryptocurrency without getting an education, that financial education. And so we recently launched something called Learn and Earn. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but essentially we're actually paying people to learn. So you can do courses, you can learn about what is cryptocurrency, what is Bitcoin, learn about fundamental analysis, learn about technical analysis, and if you complete those courses, we'll reward you in Bitcoin or another asset.
I'll take Doge.
Doge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got Doge on there.
It's it's funny though, but like, it's a top 10 coin. And yeah, it's still top, well, it was top 10. I don't know, it's so volatile at that 10, 11 rank, but there's something recent coming out in the news with X and Elon and Doge. So I don't know, watch this space. But yeah, but you guys offer in variety of different tokens or just select ones?
We've got about 320 assets on the platform. So there's a lot of different assets, a lot of different tokens, all cryptocurrency, and it's so basically we're an exchange. So I probably skipped that part, but it just allows you to buy, sell, send, withdraw your cryptocurrency, off board, on ramp fiat.
I heard a good, people go, oh, well, whatever it is. I mean, exchanges is one thing, and I've seen other kind of blockchain related or even AI or tech related startups and go, well, why are you doing that? So-and-so's here, but what market is worth its while if there's only one person or group? We've got that. It's called the ASX, but I used to work there, so I can bag it. But, it's monopolies do not help with competition. You rest on your laurels and you don't compete and you don't push each other. And in a space that we are here in Australia, we need to push each other to get better, to get the right regulations. So I think it's absolutely necessary. that we have the various exchanges here in Brisbane, Sydney, and on the West Coast, etc. But let's just go back to what has the journey for, what's the growth been like for Swyftx? And when did you join again? When did you say that you joined?
So yeah, I've been there for 2 years. Before that, I worked in insurance. I was setting up customer service and sales teams for, places in Singapore and Thailand. And I was a bit of a crypto nerd, so I was the only guy there that was investing crypto and a couple other people. And yeah, I remember one of the guys, he's still a good mate of mine. Like, he came to me with the Sandbox. It's a gaming token, and he was like, "Mate, like, I'm getting in. It's at 5 cents." He's like, "Ryan, you need to buy some." And I didn't buy any at that time. And then I think during the peak bull run, Sandbox went to about $10. And
Is he retired now?
He's not, because
Okay.
he sold most at $1, and he's still holding a bit. But he made a bit of money. But yeah, I was like, "You got to buy me a drink," because I didn't buy any. So it was yeah, one of those moments. I'm sure we've all had them where should have bought it, should have got in, but didn't. And it's all a learning curve.
I mean, you were watching on the outside, because we've got a few people here that are not working in the space, but are interested, and which is great. What was it like for you being on the outside now versus like being on the inside and working directly in the space?
Yeah, I guess, look, when you're on the outside, like, you're doing all your research yourself. Obviously, it is nice working with people that are all crypto nerds like myself. So we're all, we come into the office, everyone's talking about new tokens coming out, new coins coming out, what we think the market's going to do. We've got a lot of really smart, intelligent people, at Swyftx that are, constantly researching the market, the macro environment, and what, where they think things are going to go. But yeah, it's good. It's fun. It's a really good place to work. Like, I absolutely love it. We basically, I've kind of skipped over it, but 5 years ago, Swyftx was started. 2 founders that still work with us in Brisbane, Alex and Angus, good friends of mine. And it's just yeah, it's good culture, good place to work, and yeah, absolutely love it. So
Yes, it definitely seems like a bit of a family. I feel like I've met a few other kind of Swyftx people just today. So
yep.
yeah. And what are your thoughts on, the people have seen that there was that merger, then it went away and stuff.
Yep.
It's not so much an elephant in the room because it's been some time and stuff now, but what was it like going through something like that? Because I can't remember, were we in the bear market when it was always a bit of the bull market, then it was in the bear market that things changed? What was it like?
Yeah, so to give context, so it was actually pretty much at the very tail end of the bull run. We decided to merge with a company called Superhero. So not sure if you guys ever used them for trading stocks, shares, etc. But the goal was to bring that on board. We had a lot of our customers who do trade traditional finance, so they're already trading equities, etc. And we're kind of talking to them. We're saying, well, would you guys be keen on having a one-stop app where you can trade, your stocks, and people wanting to diversify, 5-10% of their portfolio into cryptocurrency. So the goal was to have a one-stop app, cryptocurrency, equities, etc. And yeah, we tried to do it at the peak of the bull run. Unfortunately, regulation was like, you can't do that because you're bringing unregulated and regulated, into the same space.
Was it the ATO? No.
No, it wasn't the ATO, but I do think we should have had you guys on board, because maybe we could have, I'm sure you would have found Damien, I'm sure you would have found a loophole or some way that we could have done it. What year was it? It was 2021, sorry. 2022.
He was playing for the other team.
Oh, bit of extra cash. Bit of extra Dogecoin maybe your way. But no, so yeah, we were basically going to merge and didn't in the end. It was, look, going through that, we then obviously hit the bear market. I guess through that period, we definitely had overhired. So we did lay off a few people. We had a few redundancies. That was, a big learning curve for us. And, this round forward, we're obviously a lot smarter, a lot more diligent and with our hiring, and we're kind of in a much better place. And yeah, the business is going extremely well. So it's, yeah, look, it was tough at the time. But
you missed out on those great opportunities for names, though. I mean,
yeah.
Swift Hero or Swyftx or Taylor Swift, or I don't know.
Yeah. We look. It was getting tossed around for a while. I can't remember, all of them that kind of came around. But yeah, Swyftx, yeah, Super Swift Hero. maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
I like Swift Hero.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would have been fun. But you know,
Yeah.
it's interesting because you know, big news that it was happening, then big news that it wasn't, and it's just like, look, guys, it's not. We're just going to continue.
Yeah,
Doesn't
look.
change.
Yeah, for us, you know, as I think you mentioned before, Mark, like, you know, cryptocurrency does, we're in a place, blockchain, it moves very quickly. You know, we were obviously trying to do something that hadn't been done before. Couldn't happen, so then we just moved on, and now we are where we are, and it, you know, things are going really well.
I love it. The question we asked to whether it's on the podcast that we do or as we ask Mena here and whatnot whenever we have guests, we always like to get an opinion on what they think about the market and like where it is right now. But what do you kind of think that we're in? Because some people, they see this kind of stuff and they go, oh, it's just the start. There's so much more happening. Or others see it as like, this is a blip. We're going to go down again. I don't know, we want to be more positive, and there's some people that are just very pragmatic. They need to see a few more signs. But like, what do you think about where we are right now? Bitcoin ETF, Elon's talking about it more. Crypto Twitter seems like it's back. I mean, what are your thoughts, Ryan?
I like put on the financial advice.
Yeah. This is fun. No, this is not financial advice. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah. Personally, speaking on, you know, just personal opinions here, definitely no advice. But no, I'm extremely bullish. You know, as I said, I'm a big crypto nerd, and I think, you know, it's like this time round. Like if you look at last bull run, you know, a lot of it was, you know, a lot of the, especially the tail end, a lot of coming from leverage. You know, really fake money in a sense. Where this time we got the spot ETFs. A lot of money coming in. We got, you know, $1 billion days, you know, a few $100 million days from spot ETFs coming into Bitcoin. So I think that's really positive. And it's also an election year this year, so we generally know that's quite positive in the US sense. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish leading into the end. We've obviously had a little bit of a correction, but I'm hoping that leading up to the halving, and after that we hopefully will see a run. Could go the other way though. So, you know, don't take my advice for it.
You mentioned the halving. That's a big event that's coming up. I think like 25 or 26 or something days and hours and seconds. Are you guys doing anything for the halving?
Yes, we will. We do always do some events, some promotions. Like we sponsor the Brisbane Lions, so keep an eye out. We do free tickets and things to the Brisbane Lions at times as well. So we'll do some promotions and some fun and get our customers involved. Absolutely. So.
Crystal ball.
Yep.
You know, where does Swyftx? No. Where do you think we're headed 5 years from now? Where do you see this space?
5 years from now, I think. Look, real world assets are becoming a thing. So tokenization of, you know, real world assets will, I think, just be a lot more common. Like it is, cryptocurrency is becoming, like it is maturing. Obviously, like we've gone through, I think now all of the, you know, the FTX and the, you know, some of that, I guess, that craziness that you've got to go through to kind of mature. So it is like it's good. We're in a mature space. It is becoming more institutionalized. There you go. Mic change. I'm talking that much that I'm running out of batteries. But yeah, no, cryptocurrency, as I say, is maturing. You know, it's becoming, as I said, like it's becoming institutionalized. I'm seeing more and more that, you know, especially people who maybe back in the day, they looked at cryptocurrency like, oh, you know, what is this? This is going to die. Now they're thinking, okay, maybe I want to put in 5% or 10% of my portfolio and just have a dabble, you know. So, and I think more and more people that are in traditional finance, especially with the ETFs, I think that's so positive for cryptocurrency. It's allowing people to just get involved, you know. And, you know, like I said, you know, you mentioned before, there's lots of great, you know, exchanges around. I think every cryptocurrency exchange has its place. Competition is healthy, but also it's positive, you know, and I'm definitely all for it, like having ETFs, and people can not go through cryptocurrency exchanges to buy their crypto, but they can go through more traditional ways to just get a little bit of their portfolio, you know, and be part of Bitcoin. So yeah, it's good.
Test. Sorry. So you're saying if our father, for example, is a financial advisor, that we should get him to invest more into crypto?
Yeah, now they can. I think look, it's in a sense like I was mentioning, I think at the start, like why we really do heavily focus on education as an exchange is because there's while cryptocurrency is maturing, it's still, as we all know, that Arena, it's sending to a storage wallet. You can lose your funds if you send it on the wrong network or if you send it to the wrong address. Like there's still so much that you do have to learn if you want to get involved in cryptocurrency. Where now like it's a lot easier where people can just go buy an ETF and quickly just be part of it and not have to go through all of that those difficult learnings. So it's it's good.
Amazing. And where are you? TikTok, Facebook? No, what socials can we reach you on?
TikTok, Facebook. Yeah, look, Instagram. I've only got about 100 Instagram followers, so I think I've got 99. So if someone wants to follow me, I'll be at 100. I can celebrate tonight. And but no, LinkedIn. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn. My full name is Ryan Clark. You can chat to me after as well if you just want to have a yarn. And otherwise, LinkedIn or. That's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, all my Instagram, but that's get my.
Need to work on your TikTok game.
Need to work on my TikTok game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. We'll put it in the show notes and stuff in the video, and and Farcaster. Yeah, we haven't spoken enough about Farcaster.
I mean, I'm on Telegram and Discord, and obviously I'm deep in the crypto space, so all in there. But probably if you want to have a chat, LinkedIn would be the place to be.
Speaking of Farcaster, by the way, and I'm not on it. I am sorry. I don't practice what I preach. But we did have a good chat with Anthony Sassano of the Daily Gway about Farcaster. He spoke for about 10, 15 minutes on it at one of our Melbourne events. I'll provide a link to that in this meetup show later. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us from Swyftx, and we'll see you guys again soon.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Alrighty, this is the final part before we get back to networking, and I'm just going to switch up a little bit on the screen so that I can... Actually, let me see if this works. Is this going to work? Oh, okay. So what this is... wasn't sure if the sound was going to work. So like I said, I wear another hat. We build in the blockchain space, apart from running this and trying to be funny, doing the edutainment thing, education, entertainment. We also build in the blockchain. We've done projects with NFT projects. We've done stuff with I came to Brisbane for the first time working in blockchain for an Indigenous artist, where we actually took real artworks painted here at a studio in Brisbane, and then we burnt them. I mean, before that, we took digital images of them, and it was a burning ceremony, and then the only real version was like the digital image, and they were sold off. And we did that with some Indigenous folks, and that was amazing. And that was our first experience coming here. And we've done other things like working with the RBA. They had their pilot for an electronic Aussie dollar, where we pushed for it to be not the actual use case, because we don't like CBDCs, but we wanted it to, if you're going to use it, only have it as a proof of reserve. You can't program on it. We'll use stable coins where we can actually put privacy on top, because we put zero knowledge proofs, where the only people, like if you and I are doing transactions, no one else can see the rest of that transaction. Only you and I can see that. And if they do have to have a stable, a proof of reserve, then let the CBDC be that, or better yet, Bitcoin or something. But that was their project, so that was really interesting. But apart from that, I build in the AI space, and we built something that we want to help, not just the Web3 space, but many others. One of the examples that we've got here is, we've got a few videos, but I might try, everyone said, don't do it, don't do live demo, but I'm going to try to jump and do a live demo. So forgive me, Father, for I have live demoed. I'm going to have to change something on my computer so that I can see what I'm doing on here and there. So just bear with me. This is all just flying by the seat of our pants, folks. And by the end of it, you might not be wearing any pants anymore. So let's go to duplicate displays. So I'm recording this on OBS Studio. So if anyone's wondering, this thing here is what's recording. And I use Brave because apparently it was going to offer me crypto. Okay, so this is Swyftx. Swyftx stands for, great. Swyftx stands for Secure Internal Knowledge Enclave, and what it is, and I know it's very bright, we don't have dark mode on there, but it's a private version of ChatGPT. So one of the features is that you can have these nodules. A nodule is a knowledge module, okay, and you can put different things in there. So for example, at the start of the year, there were so many crypto outlook reports. And so whether it's from Nansen or Coindesk or Messari, or I mean, Messari, they had years of this stuff. So I could pick any one of those reports. And the idea was that if you pick one of those and you drag and drop these in as PDFs, you can ask questions. So what are the hot topics for crypto in 2024? Apart from gaming and meme coins, the reason I asked this question was a mate of mine in Telegram asked me, Mark, I'm coming back into crypto. What are the hot topics in crypto in 2024 apart from gaming and meme coins? So I just copied and pasted. And this is what the AI said. It said AI agents on blockchain, intent-centric applications, whatever that means, decentralized exchanges, Bitcoin's role beyond just transactions. That's very interesting. Our first meetup nationally in January, because everyone was away, was a national one where it was talking about Bitcoin, doing decentralized finance things on Bitcoin because now it's programmable. We've got ordinals. I'm sure you'll hear more from Danielle and the crew at All Things Blockchain on this, but there's some groups out there that are doing more stuff in this space, and it's really interesting because Bitcoin is still proof of work. Bitcoin's resurgence in DeFi summer and tokenized social experiences. So I don't know, tokenized Tinder maybe? Who knows? We'll find out. But the point is that you can ask questions here, and I'm going to try to ask one-handed. Actually, let me just put it down. Let's see how this goes. Is that going to work? Sorry, guys. Who's got a question, actually, for all the crypto outlooks? I'll type it in here. It'll be a bit slow, and I'll tell you why, but it'll come up. But anyone got any questions about all the crypto outlook reports? Okay, let's do something on what was the most negative. So I go, what was the most, if I can type, negative thing from the reports? So I'll ask that question now. What it is doing, and this is why we built this thing, because when you just ask normal GPT, there are these things called hallucinations. A hallucination is when the AI imagines something because it doesn't quite know what it's meant to be looking at. We put an extra step in the way where when you ask your question, what's the most negative thing, it looks for those words in terms of all of these 20 PDFs. Okay, yeah, tax and AML and yeah. Interesting. So it was listening in. This is part of what the AI does. It listens into these talks. But it's taken that from a few different areas. Now, that's just a short kind of response there. You can expand on that. And you can ask more complicated kind of questions. But this one is more the tennis match. This is you going along with ChatGPT and just going back and forth with it. What is interesting next is that we built something, actually I'll show you here, this Teams area. This is AI agents. And if I go to our Oz DeFi meetups, where we record the transcripts from these, and what I've got here, this is James. Say hello to James. And James is going to look at the March meetup from Sydney. I'll get them to look at the same one here when we take the transcript after this is done. They're going to write a brief description about it and talk about the main topics and notable speakers. Mary here with a beard, because Mary's from Sydney. And there is some stuff that Mary will do. In this case, it's identifying networking or key outcomes and decisions and action points from this meetup. And then we've got another person here, John, that's going to describe networking opportunities. And all the way to the end, Robert with the ponytails here, because we're very imaginative, is there to piece all of the responses together. And what you get is something like this, where you can see each of the responses. So James, who was the first one, that's their work. All the way to the end, you get these chunks of work. The goal for this one was to actually create a LinkedIn summary. But the point is that you get the background research of all the other workers. So that was another innovation, and others are doing AI agents as well. This one's cool because it's crypto related. But the last one is something that we're finding more people find useful. And who's heard the saying? I mean, you've heard the saying about AI hallucinations, right? Taking it a step further, if we think of hallucinations, the way we see it, that is not a bug. That's actually a feature. It's a feature we call dreams. When you have all of these insights together, AI is quite good at creating something as long as you steer it. You can't just leave the AI alone to do its thing. I mean, give it 6 more months at least. But in the meantime, while the humans are still around, you still have to steer it. And what we've got here, I mean, I'm talking about Ripple here. Here's something, for example, like these are background notes on my company, NotCentralised. If you've ever tried to do something in ChatGPT and change something way up the chat thread, you change the branch now. Whereas with this, if I've got something here on this section on dreams, whatever it is in my company, I can add things into this section, and then I don't have to rerun all these other threads. It's just there. So I can ask a question like, for example, if not centralized, oh, let's do this. It's better under the arm. I can't type without the microphone under my arm. Not centralized. Let's just do that because it likes spelling mistakes. Can you guys see that okay? There we go. Was to start a meme coin. What would it be called? Give 10 options. Now that's going to talk only to the notes. It's not going to go off anywhere else. It's only going to talk to the notes that are in there. So if you've got like a cool notepad thing of ideas, you can, you know, just ask questions from that. So fingers crossed we get something horrible. Oh, not coin, dream token, idea bit, nodule. Yeah, I think it could have done better. I definitely think. But that's just judging from the information that's in there, what it was going to come up with. There's definitely better ones out there. One more thing I'll show you. Okay, so this is if you've taken your notes and you put all your notes in. You can even take these notes and go, make this note better. This is a short note, expand on it, and it will do that. So you just ask it in here. But we'll do something that we're calling a magic button. So I want to ask the crowd here a question like, if you could get AI to do something on a project of yours, I don't know whether it's fighting the ATO or growing your exchange or just learning about stuff. I mean, hands up, first to hand up, we'll do your thing. Like, who wants to ask the AI question that it will break down further? Who's got a pressing question? Yes. How do you create a meme coin? Okay, let's ask that. How to create a... Okay, so this is just a short question. And normally if you do this kind of stuff with normal GPT, you need to think about what else do you need to ask. We've got the magic button. What does the magic button do? It's magic. No, actually what it is doing is it's going to now take that query and break it down into component parts. Those component parts are based off the AI going, well, you've asked this question. Here's how we think it should be broken down. Obviously, at the end of all that, you can tweak it. So it's going to define the meme coin concept. It's going to outline some creation steps, select a blockchain platform, design some coin attributes. There'll be a whole heap of other smart, it's going to do some smart contract code. Whether it does the code or not, I don't know, but you can use GPT for this. We're using GPT-4, which is OpenAI's and Microsoft part-owned. We do this through Microsoft, so it stays here in Australia. But we're helping various kind of projects in healthcare, in finance and legal, and we want to help more Web3. Like I said, we help Blockchain Australia synthesize all their research. I don't know like how many steps it's going to do, but you can tell it, I only want this across 4 notes if you don't want that many. So you get to control it just by language. It's going to launch the initial coin, it's going to list it, it's going to develop a marketing strategy. Not bad. Now, what it's going to do here is actually take all of these, and I'll stop it after it gets to the next step, but it's going to now instruct the machine to create all of these separate notes. You can save those notes. Well, I mean, this is dream number 42. I can actually give that a name. And the point is that whether it's for creativity stuff or better yet for planning. And the videos I was going to show you before, we created this Oz DeFi Association. Danielle created all things blockchain. I'm thinking about, well, now that we've got AI, and AI is a reflection of humans. AI is not this brand new thing that's come to this planet. It's a reflection of the writings that we've already got. And you can see it starting to write and fill out those notes here, which you can tweak. But because AI is this reflection of us, I ask AI, if you were to start a DeFi association, what would that look like? And I can see as it's writing all the things that I've missed out on and now are opportunities for me to actually improve on that project. So like I said, for creativity or you know, as we saw before, Nick, one of my colleagues, he asks about what if there was a hedge fund run by a cat? And it goes, well, Mr. Whiskers is the cat and blah, blah, blah. And it's really interesting. So it's creativity. He's planning, you know, I want to create a meme coin, or I'm learning about a meme coin, like what these things are. How would you do it? Or it's for your own stuff that you've done and maybe comparing it to your own projects. AI is there to help us. And we at NotCentralised are here to help you use AI in a friendlier way. So if you want to chat to me about this, very happy to chat. But what it will do here is it will continue to write and fill out the rest of the notes from which you can do stuff. If you want me to send this to you and you want to submit this to the ATO, I think we need to work on it a little bit. But yeah. Well, yeah, whether you've got an idea for a meme coin or you know, anyone else has any kind of other kind of project, I mean, there's some really cool stuff that is being done here, and we're only just starting to raise funding in the US because we're going to try to grow this over there. We've got some good friends that are interested in this, so there's going to be more, and we've only just made this mobile friendly, so it's coming. Yes, Mena.
Question for you. You said, is it a personal AI? Is it capable of taking data online from online sources?
At the moment, we haven't got, so for that, you'd need to have a web browser plugin hooked into it, which we can do. We don't have that yet. So the sources at the moment are either just normal GPT-4, which is where I'll actually move out of this. This will continue to create, by the way, and others don't do this. So if I leave this, I could completely log out as well. And if I go back to that dream, number 42, you'll see that it will continue to write. You can't do that with ChatGPT and other tools. Like you log off, it's gone. So we've done some, I don't know what Arturo, there's a technical term for that. And if Arturo is here, he'll explain it. But just going back to your point, let me just show you when you go to one of these knowledge modules, like here's something on NotCentralised that I was using before we had the dreams thing. If you say documents, documents means only talk to the documents that are in this knowledge module. If you say GPT-4, you're only talking to GPT-4. We've got hybrid there, but hybrid, it's a bit difficult. It gets confused. You trying to tell it, now talk to this document, but also pull stuff from online. It's not as good, so it's better to just be explicit and just go GPT-4 and you go, who is Sam Altman? Is SBF still in jail? And it will say here, because it's not web browser, it will say that I've only got information cut off to April 2023. But as we add other models, whether it's Grok or Mixtral and others that are a bit more up-to-date, we will have more up-to-date information. Or we just add in the web browser one as well. Yes? We are working with others where we will make this available via API. So if you've got apps and you want to plug this in, we do that. So so imagine that there was a company that did surveys. They did ESG surveys that you had to fill in as the client, and it takes time for them to fill in. Yet all the answers are in the PDFs. So we plugged in our API into, well, not quite the API, but we're working with them and we will make it available via API. But we've worked with them to power their survey. So now the client just drags and drops PDFs. The AI tries to answer those questions. So imagine client onboarding. And if it can't answer the questions, it will tell you, the human user, that it couldn't get this. So you need to fill these extra things in and then you send your data in. So shortcutting the time is definitely something there. But yeah. Any other? Yes.
So I use ChatGPT all the time, and I have a lot of kind of repetitive tasks that are different. So can you basically train it and give it specific instructions, but then kind of have like, so I kind of do that with ChatGPT at the moment. I have different kind of channels, right?
Yep.
But then it's not correct. I'll say to it, you know, I'll go, that's not correct, right? So I'll use it to help me assess, right? And
Right.
so like, the student has, I've given you the benchmark answer.
Yeah.
The student hasn't actually marked it correct. And then it was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then it will like spit up.
It's very apologetic.
It's very apologetic. So I guess my question is, but then it will just like have a spasm and then like kind of forget what it's doing, right? So then then I have to like instruct it again. So it's very kind of frustrating. So I'm just wondering.
What's the example there? Like, is it for grading students' work, or is it for a step-by-step, you've got a procedure that you're doing and you want it to, like here, for example, I don't know if this answers the question, but the end out.
Maybe like evaluating like at the moment I'm evaluating projects.
Yeah.
So I drop in a white paper
Yeah.
and give me these specific stats.
So imagine that this thing here, if I go back to the top, that, when you drop the white paper in, James's instructions is to do the first part of the white paper. Another worker, robot worker, is...
So the instructions for the
Yep.
agents.
So each of these instructions could be made specific. And then at the end, in this example, the end is just, hey, take all the results and write a LinkedIn summary. What I could do here is add another prompt. Here's Jennifer. Jennifer's instructions I could write down is take the result from Robert with a ponytail, read it from the context of you are the world's greatest compliance manager. Compliance knows nothing on you, for example, and read and write a really complex kind of feedback form to it. And then the feedback from Jennifer, we would add another agent, Michael, with long hair again this time, that would rewrite, based on Jennifer's feedback, would rewrite Robert's response. And you can do that. You can do all complex sort of things there. It's not quite drag and drop. You do have to type in names here. So these are all automatically generated. But if I was going to create something where Robert's going to be reviewed, I would give it Jennifer a name. And in the instructions here, I would tell it to, here is Robert's work. I have to put, oh, that's not the right instructions there. I don't know why my control paste wasn't working. But I would take, the previous steps and link them together, basically. So there are ways that you can get the AI to do a little bit of compliance itself, but there still has to be the human checking it all at the end. We're not quite fully automated yet, just like with cars are almost getting there. But yeah, we could potentially do something.
Like, can it spit out Word documents and Excel documents?
This one, not yet, but you would have, so for example here, I just hit copy, and I can like paste that into a Google Doc. But we tested doing...
ChatGPT does it for me, and other days it
Yeah.
says, oh, sorry, I can't do that today.
So we were experimenting with something. It's not in production, but where you just go, send email to Mena, send email to Danielle, for example, and if it knows your email because you're in a separate part of the database, it's there. Another thing we're experimenting with, which is not there yet, and you'll hear about it from others, is memory. So right now, imagine that you're chatting to someone really smart, but you're effectively hitting reset each time you have a chat with them. Right? In this case, if they have memories of what is a good response, a bad response, the things you like, the things that it should be knowing, then that is coming out as well. So we're not there yet, but yeah, we're interested in growing this along with the community. We want to help the Web3 space or any other projects that you're doing. It doesn't even have to be Web3 for this. It could just be for personal projects. So we're open to feedback basically in terms of what people want. Any other questions? All right.
How long, well, I guess how long's a piece of string, but is it pretty easy, like, to know and kind of set up all those instructions, or would that be like pretty time consuming?
No, so for example, that one there where it's like here, do this thing for Oz DeFi. I actually have a magic button there where I say, I'm going to give you some transcripts from an Oz DeFi meetup. I want you to analyze it. So I didn't actually have to set that up. I just got it to ask that. I tweaked a few things and I pointed to the PDFs that I want. The complicated thing would be that you have to drag and drop your PDFs, or you have to turn Word docs into PDFs. Eventually, we'll connect to Google Drive. We're already connected to SharePoint, so we can feed in things from there, but we'll be more connective, a bit easier. Sorry?
Said Microsoft.
Yeah, I know. But Google Drive is going to be something that's coming because we mix between Google and Microsoft a lot. But anyway, these videos here just showcase that a little bit more. I'll skip through. Oh, God. Go away. By the way, that is an AI voice that is doing all that, which is great. And then for the Sydney meetup, and I'm not using AI music yet, but you can do that. You can just describe funky tune for a blockchain association, and there's AI tools out there that will make that for you. Or a video. Wait till we start using Sora, for example. Like, that's going to be interesting. But yeah, this is like Psych Teams. But yeah. So you can see that all working there. So this is on the meetups. And I posted this to LinkedIn as well. So that's there. Skip. God. I don't know how to get this to the next slide without actually finishing the video. Final announcements. You can see all the sponsors there. So we thank all of them very, very much, especially Coinstash, our newest sponsor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And all of our speakers that are here. We will be back at the Precinct. work on like some other venues and stuff as well. There's still some pizza and drinks out there. I overbought, as I always like to do, so feel free to take some stuff home. I know some of you guys drove here or just have roadies on the way home. Feel free to hang around and stuff now. And, whoa, what happened there? That is weird. Okay, something happened. I'm sorry, Stables. That was probably me. But you'll be in the show notes. But our Discord is on there. Not as many people on the Discord anymore, but definitely Twitter, the YouTubes, the meetups, newsletters. Every Monday for 2.5 years, I've been writing a newsletter. Ain't that fun? You write a newsletter too.
Sorry?
You write a newsletter as well, don't you?
Yeah, just some very basic news highlights. Yeah.
Follow Danielle Marie. We'll put that in the show notes too. But folks, thank you for your patience. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next month. All right. So do we start the party now?